Let us take time to reflect on those who paved the way and who have persevered for this day to be possible, and to give thanks for this beautiful weather that we are experiencing this morning. Please bow your heads for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wells. And now it is my honor to introduce our North Carolina Poet Laureate, Ms. Jackie Shelton Green.
Good morning. Truly a blessed morning. Thank you. Freedom's beacon. Dear ancestors, dear warriors of peace and reclamation, dear unborn children, dear North State, land of our people, we are all the hands, hearts, and breath of the beacon, sustaining life for the ones who cry out, I cannot breathe, guiding generations beyond undelivered and denied promises. We are all the beacon of power, carrying and delivering blessed, undaunted assurances, reimagining an eternal Pharos, reimagining eternal illuminating emancipation. We are all the beacon, gleaming like the Egyptian pharaohs, ushering new freedoms, no longer requiring poems of pain, no longer pledging allegiances to flags that do not call out our children's names or erase the names of the ones who stretch their whole beings into a southern sky that will not bend. This beacon is our new mantra of hope, shape-shifting our magnificent bodies, hearts, and spirits into a song that cannot be contained. We are all the wings of the beacon, stretching tenderness into a future of promise, propelled by a history unable to erase our presence. We interrupt an amnesia-laden narrative that refuses to remember. We are all the voices of the beacon, interrupting the restrictions of civil liberties, interrupting the violence swirling over our children's heads. We are all the ones here now, raising outstretched palms, offering praises for the ones who waded through the great dismal swamp. We are the ones here now, listening to the bequeathed prayers that continue to float across Carolina Atlantic, whispering, follow the light, follow the light, follow the light, become the beacon. We are the ones here now, still following the light, protecting the beacon. We are all the ones here now. We are whispered ancestral dreams, kept safe aboard the slave ship Hannah. We are the ones here now, the futures they birthed on Hatteras, Portsmouth Island, and Roanoke Island. We are the beacon. We are all the ones here now, holding the holiness of all the named and unnamed ones who sacrifice faith and genius, hold up these Carolina skies, waiting no longer in shackled blues. We are the beacon. We are the beacon. Bright light striking from the seeds they carried. Bright light striking from the endurance of auction blocks. Bright light striking from the secrets they planted in tobacco fields. Bright light striking from the soles of their feet cursing plantation grounds. Bright light striking from the hushed breath of lynching trees. We are this resilient light. We are all the ones here now. We are all the ones here now. We are all this beacon. Thank you.
Thank you. It is now my pleasure to welcome to the stage Dr. Goldie Franks Wells and Mr. David Warren, co-chairs of the North Carolina Freedom Park Board of Directors.
And good morning again. My name is Dr. Goldie Franks Wells, and it is a pleasure to be here this morning.
My name is David Warren, and I'm delighted to join my co-chair here with all you people who have come. Thank you. Come again.
We're pleased to welcome each of you to this historic moment in our state's history. We're celebrating the grand opening of the North Carolina Freedom Park, the first state park honoring the struggle of African-American North Carolinians and their contributions to the struggle for freedom and the continued fight for equality. The park speaks positively into our civic conversation as demonstrated by its bipartisan support from the state legislators, the generous support from private foundations, private corporations, and public members. The park represents universal themes of freedom, perseverance, and equality at a time when we most need to pursue them together. We honor those who came before us, those whose words are inscribed along the walkways. There are many others who helped us to see this day. Congresswoman Alma Adams, Michelle Lanier, Kel Landis, Senator Natalie Murdoch, Angela Thorpe. And we remember our beloved designer, Bill Freelon, our founding co-chairs, Dr. John Hope Franklin, the noted historian, and Dr. William Friday, the greatly respected President Emeritus of the University of North Carolina system.
Got it right there. Right? Good morning again, and what a beautiful day here in North Carolina Freedom Park. In the year 2000, North Carolina Freedom Park was a vague vision of doing something to honor the African American struggle for freedom in North Carolina, freedom and justice. And today it has evolved to a magnificent and enduring tribute to freedom, speaking to all people. I am here to thank the scores and scores of North Carolinians who, during the last 23 years, have played multiple valuable roles at numerous critical times, blacks and whites working together closely and productively. Specifically, let me mention these groups. The citizens early on across the state in town meetings and conferences who conceived and planned the project. The many dedicated past and present board members, many of whom are here, and who worked so long and hard to bring the park to reality. The supportive journalists, Dawn Vaughn, I think Paul Gardner is here, maybe, I hope. The supportive journalists who created public awareness. The exceptionally talented architects and construction team members who actually built the park, and they're here too. The governor and state officials in Department of Administration, Department of Natural and Cultural Resources, especially the Arts Council and the Historical Commission, who gave advice and approvals. We needed approvals for this. And of course, the many donors. Many of you are here too. The donors, large and small, and particularly the wonderful foundations, credit unions and banks, insurers, law firms, businesses and manufacturers, healthcare institutions, generous individuals, and our state legislature, who collectively contributed over $7 million to make it happen. Many of the names of the founding donors are on that wall over there. You get a chance later to see it. One of our colleagues, now looking down on us from above, Kel Landis, gave us both inspiration and action in the key role of fundraising at the very time we needed help. He wrote the little book of Do that challenged us to get the job done. Kel is done. Thanks to all of you and the others who were doers.
We're grateful for your presence here today and to those who have sponsored and will support this project in many small and often unnoticed ways. We
extend our thanks.
Wonderful. And I would now like to welcome to the stage Dr. Reginald Hildebrand, who is a member of the North Carolina Freedom Park Board of Directors.
My thanks to co-chairs Wells and Warren for being the ones to take us across the finish line with your steadfast leadership. A couple of things I want to say. First, the first public reading of the original poem, Freedom's Beacon, by North Carolina poet laureate Jackie Shelton Green, is a major cultural event, and we thank you for that great work. What can I say in a couple of minutes about a project that we have been working on for over 20 years? What I can and must say is thank you. Jim Clark, who served with me as co-chair during the wilderness years, and all of you for all that you did and for what you tried to do, for believing in this project. Thank you. Listen to the words of the Voices of Freedom inscribed on these walls, most of which are the color of Carolina clay. As you enter the park from over there, Sergeant John W. Pratt, U.S. Colored Troops, really wants you to know what he saw when his regiment marched into Wilmington in February 1865, bringing freedom to the enslaved people there. His words are, "At the appearance of our troops, the people gathered. I noticed an old man and woman singing and giving God the praise to see this day. They thanked God that the day had come when they were not to be driven to market and sold like sheep." And from a wall in the next walkway, Mr. John H. Wheeler, president of Mechanics and Farmers Bank in the mid-20th century, might say, "Yes, that was a great day, Sergeant Pratt, and we are so proud and grateful for what you did. But let me tell you something. Whether you are a soldier or a bank president, and whether it's 1865 or 1965, for we who are black, the battle for freedom begins every morning." And from over there, the Reverend Paulie Murray says, "Amen, my brothers. I know just what you mean. I am black and a woman who does not have a traditional gender identity. I had to face many challenges. The words that she wants you to know are these: It has taken me almost a lifetime to discover that true emancipation lies in acceptance of the whole past, in facing up to the degradation as well as the dignity of my ancestors. From that wall, Pauli Murray speaks to anyone and everyone who is conflicted or troubled about their identity or their past. She is also preaching to the state of North Carolina, telling it to embrace all its history. This park is a big step in the right direction. This park is a village of wisdom and courage and strength. Its monuments are words and ideas. When you come here, you enter and honor the souls of Black folk who are speaking to you, whatever your background and identity may be, whatever challenges you may face. Each voice sheds some light on the meaning of freedom, the struggle for freedom, on what it means to be without freedom. They warn not to take freedom for granted. In the words of the spiritual, each of them is telling us, this little light of mine, let it shine. And collectively, their lights create a great beacon of freedom that will shine into the night sky beginning tonight. Long after all of us are gone, these walls will still be reminding people that the battle for freedom begins every morning. And the beacon will be a source of inspiration and pride for people who have not yet been born. So on this day, we dedicate this space and pray that in years to come, it will increase in beauty and meaning. On this day, we invite everyone of goodwill to come here to learn from and about the voices of freedom. And whatever challenges you may face, like them, keep your eye on the beacon.
Thank you, Dr. Hildebrand. It is now my pleasure to introduce the chair of the North Carolina African American Heritage Commission, Dr. Valerie Ann Johnson.
Whew. If y'all could see yourselves. Welcome again, everyone. And this is indeed a glorious morning. As chair of the North Carolina African American Heritage Commission, on behalf of the talented and dedicated AAHC staff and my fellow commissioners, two of whom are with me today, Commissioner Moore and Commissioner Brothers, I thank you all for coming out to celebrate the long-awaited opening of Freedom Park, a park for the people. And I'm pleased to reiterate that the first park is also the first for the African American Heritage Commission. And this is a jewel. And what a jewel, not only for the commission, but for North Carolina. Much appreciation to the many hands and hearts that worked to make this happen. We'd be here until the beacon was alight again if we were to name everyone, but understand that my heart goes out to all of you for that toil, as Dr. Hildebrand said, in the wilderness. Please remember that Freedom Park reminds us that freedom of heart, soul, and body is a human birthright. It is our collective responsibility to secure this birthright for all. We cannot take freedom for granted. Freedom Park holds us to that responsibility. I leave with you a charge from one of my other favorite poets. I have the pleasure of sitting next to my favorite poet, Poet Laureate for North Carolina, Jackie Shelton Green. I have to shout it out. I have to. That was an amazing rendition of your work and of your life's work. My other one is Margaret Walker. And I'm not going to read the full of her poem, but I'll leave you with these words. It's called At the Lincoln Monument in Washington, August 28th, 1963. So the leaders of the marches stand and categorize the people. Write this word upon your hearts and mark this message on the doors of your houses. See that you do not forget how this day the Lord has set our faces toward freedom. Teach these words to your children and see that they do not forget them. Recite them in your going out and coming in, and speak them in the silence of the night. Remember the covenant we have made together here in the eyes of our liberator, here in the witnessing presence of our God and fellow man. Where shall we march if not to freedom and to our promised land? Amen and thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. And now I would like to invite our Chief Deputy Secretary for the Department of Natural and Cultural Resources, Stacy Meyer.
Good morning, everyone. What an amazing day to be in this beautiful park. Thank you for being here. Our Secretary, Reed Wilson, is ill and can't be with us today, but he sends his best regard for this special day. Our department is made up of 100 locations across the state. These places and the ideas they represent create a shared identity among us as North Carolinians. They provide common ground. Everyone is welcome. Today, we're excited to be adding another location right here in downtown Raleigh, literally in our own backyard. We've been able to watch all of this happening from our windows, and it's been amazing. As the first park in North Carolina dedicated to honoring the African American struggle for freedom, it stands as a beacon of hope and a reminder that the ideals of perseverance, equality, and freedom are universal aspirations that unite us all. The African American Heritage Commission will manage this park and ensure that it lives up to that mission. Today is decades in the making. You've heard about the vision and the visionaries. This project brought together nonprofits and foundations, private donors, and the government. Thank you to all who made this happen. I want to offer a special thank you to the Freedom Park Board of Directors. Thank you very much. I want to thank all the members of the North Carolina General Assembly for their support and investment. I want to thank special partner DOA, who is a Department of Administration, who has provided an amazing amount of support and will be our partner in this park going forward. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's my honor to introduce a leader who knows that our state's diversity is its strength and who is working for a more just and equitable state for us all. Someone who championed this park. Thank you for your leadership. The Governor of North Carolina, Roy Cooper.
Oh, thank you very much. Two decades later, it has arrived. A day of hope. 2 decades of pushing and prodding and pleading and working. 2 decades of planning, researching, decision making. Freedom Park is finally here. Stacey, I'm grateful for all of the employees of the Department of Natural and Cultural Resources, all of my cabinet secretaries, most all of them are here, people who have worked in our departments. Thank you. I think I know at least half the people here, so I can't even start. I would like, we have a lot of legislators here, Republicans and Democrats. I'd like them to stand and wave their hands. I know that Senator Graven, you all wave your hands over there. Thank them for their contributions, along with all of the businesses, the individuals, the nonprofits, the people who stepped up for this day. And I know that Dr. Bill Friday and Dr. John Hope Franklin and my buddy Phil Freelon, what an amazing work here, and my good friend Kel Landis, Nina, you're continuing his good work. We're all looking down on this today and have a big smile. And Dr. Johnson, you told me that they're responsible for the weather, and so I'm grateful for that. All right. The executive mansion is here. The legislature is there. The Capitol is there. The courts are right over there. Now nestled here among the branches of government, amidst the sound and the fury, shines North Carolina Freedom Park. As government leaders and the public that seeks to influence us debate the issues, we would all do well to retreat here from time to time, to stand, see, hear, feel, read, and reflect. Many will come, curious North Carolinians, tourists from across the nation and the world, passers-by, historians, critics, activists, and yes, the school children will come here. They will come to Raleigh to see the Capitol and the museums and the parks and the executive mansion and the legislature. Now they will see Freedom Park as well. They will step into a garden that displays the brutal truth and extraordinary accomplishments found in Black history. A garden where diversity is revered and where struggle and strife and suffering and death and strength and resilience and brilliance can inspire determination to reach the greater good that I believe God intended. Last night, I reread all of the quotes that I know were chosen from many, many, many quotes that now adorn this amazing work of art. They gripped me, deeply saddened me, angered me, amazed me, encouraged me, inspired me. When I think about our history, I know how important it is to learn from it, from all of it. I do know that I'm grateful for the words of the Episcopal priest and attorney who said, Pauli Murray, who said, true emancipation lies in the acceptance of the whole past, in deriving my strength from all of my roots, in facing up to the degradation as well as the dignity of my ancestors. That tells us, folks, that history is history. We live in the greatest country in the world, but let's learn about the great and the good and the bad and the ugly, unvarnished, so that we can all know and learn. We are making amazing progress in race relations, but we know that there is still a long way to go. Let us hope that this beacon, this Freedom Park, shines forever and illuminates our mind. And let's remember what that bank president, and I don't quote bank presidents very often, but let's remember that bank president, John Wheeler, president of Manufacturers and Farmers Bank, that the battle for freedom begins every morning. Thank you very much.
And with that, Freedom Park is officially open. Thank you all. Thank you all for joining us in celebration today. Please feel free to stick around. We have a number of performances planned ongoing until just about 2 o'clock today. As well, if anyone is interested, I would like to welcome you back for about 8:10 p.m. this evening will be the inaugural lighting of the beacon, and you are more than welcome to bring your family, friends to enjoy the space together. Thank you and have a good rest of your day.